Welcome. It looks like we are on the air live. Welcome everyone to our 12 Days of Christmas webinar event. This is day 12, and I say that with a little bit of sadness because we've had so much fun. Well, as before we get started, we do have a special guest today that I'll introduce you to in just a moment. But before we get started, I wanted to answer some of the questions that you were asking in yesterday's webinar. And one of the frequently asked questions we were receiving was, will the 12 days webinars be available to view long term? And the answer is yes. They are now on our blog, and the replay links will remain live and active. So if you want to watch them over the holiday season or in January or in July, they'll be there for you to find and available for viewing. And the one thing, though, that will not be available long-term is the special offers that go along with the webinars. Most of those offers will expire either on Tuesday of next week or on December 31st, depending on if they're a digital product offer or something that needs to be shipped. So just want to let you know about that. And thank you all for your lovely comments to both Joan and I about our sweaters and our holiday accessories and our lipstick and our jewelry throughout the entire event. That's been really fun. So thank you for those. And someone asked yesterday, tell us again about the lipstick. Both Joan and I get our lip stain from LipSense, and it's been a really great product, and we are no way affiliated with it or anything like that, but it's just a lipstick that we both love. So wanted to let you guys know about that since you've been asking. And also, let's see here, a few people wanted to know about our West Care visit this week. Our team did go to West Care on Wednesday afternoon, and we had a phenomenal time. We were able to wrap presents, help families shop for their loved ones, and just get to spread some Christmas cheer and overall have some fun sharing that holiday spirit with people. So I think everyone had a really great time. It was a great way to team build, but it's also been a really great way to team build doing these 12 days of webinars together. We've had a lot of fun, and thank you for being part of that with us. And of course, as always, all of our follow-up from today's program, including your certificate of attendance, will be available later today at our blog, which is officedynamics.com/blog. Okay, as you may see, we do have a special guest with us today, and I'm going to quickly give her an introduction, and we're going to get started into talking about our topic for today, which is the proactive professional. Chrissy Scivicque believes that work can be delicious, a delicious, nourishing life experience, and she loves helping professionals discover exactly what that means for them and how to achieve it. Her popular website, eatyourcareer.com, is devoted to this mission. And as an award-winning writer, certified career coach, and experienced corporate trainer, Chrissy brings a unique perspective to the world of professional development. She's also the author of the new book, The Proactive Professional, which I have with me here today. She's definitely in love with the concept of being proactive and will bring excellent information your way today. Welcome, Chrissy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jasmine, and thank you everyone for joining today's session. I feel like I have such big shoes to fill for Joan since she's not here today, but I'm trying to really embody her wonderful festive spirit. I've just been so spirited this year because of these webinars. I really think that that's the main reason that I have just been like singing holiday carols all the time. So thank you everyone for allowing me to be here on your final day of this series.
Oh, thank you, Chrissy. And we feel the same way. Obviously, I don't usually run around with antlers on my head, but I'm having fun with the whole holiday spirit thing too. And I know the webinars have definitely contributed to that for me. So we're going to grab our coffees, Chrissy, or our cocos, and we're going to get started with our questions.
Our matching mugs.
So yes, we do have matching mugs. Let's see yours again one more time.
See, we're mug twins. We're mug sisters, really. It's not identical, but sisters.
I love it. Clink. Clink. All right, Chrissy, let's get started with our questions. So what does it really mean to be proactive?
Yeah, I love this question and I get it a lot because the word proactive is just, it's thrown around in the corporate world. It's really a buzzword. And the problem is that most people don't really know what it means. And I know for me, I'm a former executive assistant myself. I'm very proud of that. And I used to work with an executive who always used to talk about being proactive. And at one point, I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, is he going senile? We talked about this yesterday. And then, of course, I finally figured out, oh, this is an area where I need to improve. And I realized I don't really know what being proactive really means. So that was 10 years ago. I have spent all of the time in between really researching this topic and trying to pull it apart and develop a framework for how to develop this skill set. So the idea behind being proactive, I always like to tell people first, think about the opposite because the opposite is really easy to understand. That's being reactive, where you're just reacting and responding to the events and circumstances that are happening in your life and at work. And certainly, I think in the workplace, we have to be reactive a certain amount of the time. We talk about being agile and adaptable, but the problem happens when you are living in reactivity and you're just reacting to your circumstances. You're never pausing to think about the future. So being proactive really pulls us out of that reactivity cycle, and it allows us to do the right things today to set ourselves up for success tomorrow. That's like my high level, simplest term explanation of what being proactive is.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that explanation. And we do have a poll to find out where everyone's at with that. And which do you think you are the majority of the time? Are you more reactive or are you more proactive, or are you still not sure? We're going to go ahead and poll the audience and find out where they're at with that as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be really helpful because it's one of those things I want you to answer based on really what ends up happening every day. Because I think most of us want to be proactive, but we are so bombarded by just the day-to-day life events that are coming up that we end up being reactive. So I want you to answer from an honest place of what you truly end up being.
Okay, great. It looks like the poll's slowing down a little bit for me here. And we have, looks like 51% say they are proactive and 35% say reactive the majority of the time. Okay, great. So just barely over a majority, we've got 51% who think that you are being proactive the majority of the time, and that's great. Hopefully what you folks will get out of today is just some way to continue honing those skills, because it's a constant process. And then for those of you who end up being more reactive, that's great that you recognize that, and you're going to get a whole new toolkit to work with today. Excellent. That is wonderful. So Chrissy, my next question then is, why do you think it's important, particularly for administrative professionals, to be proactive?
Yeah, I think it's important for all professionals just in general. I think all business leaders want people who are proactive, but in particular, it's essential for administrative professionals. So I was fortunate in that I had an executive who was very clear. He said, I want you to be proactive. Now that's still vague, but most executives, when they're speaking to their support staff, they're saying things, they're kind of putting it in code. They're saying things like, I want you to just stay 2 steps ahead of me. Most people have probably heard that from the person or the people that you support. And then sometimes they're really clear about it and they say, I want you to read my mind. That's the mind reader expectation that I think is placed upon all administrative professionals, and it's often unspoken. It's just kind of there in the background. Oh my gosh, this person wants me to read his or her mind. And so I am curious if the people who are attending this session have experienced that. So I think that we do have another poll. I want to find out if you guys are struggling with that unspoken mind reader expectation.
Yep, and I'm watching the poll results right now. It looks like it's about 50-50, where 45% are saying yes, 47% are saying no. So neck and neck here on that mind reader expectation, Chrissy.
Okay, so what I would say for those of you who said, no, that mind reader expectation doesn't exist, I would say it might exist and you just don't know about it because it is unspoken. And when you can kind of have that ability to, we'll say, quote unquote, read minds, and of course, I'm not trying to teach anyone how to be clairvoyant, but being proactive allows you to stay 2 steps ahead. So it almost appears like you know what your executive is thinking. So if you don't think that that's a current expectation that's there, it might be there, or you might just be able to really rock your executive's world by having this new capability. So I think it's important for administrative professionals on that level. And it's also important on a broad kind of career level. So, you know, if we think about being proactive in your career, it's about creating opportunities for yourself. When you're reactive, you're sitting back and you're just waiting for those opportunities to appear. I talk to people all the time who are like, I've wanted a new job for years, or I've wanted to get new education or a certain certification for years, but life happens, life gets in the way. That's being reactive. You're letting life dictate what you're doing rather than dictating how you want your life to be. That's, you know, being proactive is taking control and taking ownership and responsibility for the circumstances in your life.
Big fan of that, Chrissy. Big fan of ownership and accountability. And I'm curious, and I know our viewers are curious too, so how do you actually develop the skill of proactivity?
Yeah, great question. And I do have a handout for everyone too that I know your webinar administrator will help put a link in the chat for those who don't have it. The handout looks like this, and it goes through all of the skills involved in being proactive. Now, this is an area where there's a lot of confusion because a lot of people think of being proactive as one single skill, and it's not one single skill. It's a whole group of skills. So you need to master all 6 of these skills that are defined in your handout. I'm going to go through them each at a really high level kind of place. And Jasmine, cut me off if I go too long because I am really passionate about this topic and I can go on forever about it, but we only have a short period of time today. So I want to go through each of these skills. The first one is big picture understanding. And you can see the definition that I've created for this skill on your handout. And basically, you know, it says the ability to use broad business acumen to synthesize information and create a holistic view of the professional environment. It's a lot of words. And really what it means is you've got to understand the context of the business world that you are operating within. I cite a story in my book where I talk about a gal that I did some career coaching with, and she came to me after she was unceremoniously laid off from her job of 12 years. And it was a total surprise to her. And when we started talking, it turned out, you know, this was a couple of years ago. It was when the economy was in the tank. Her industry was shrinking. She was in a role that was being highly automated by new technology, and her organization had had intermittent layoffs for almost a year. It was not a surprise. It shouldn't have been a surprise, but she didn't have big picture understanding. She wasn't looking at all of those things I just talked about. What's going on in the economy? What's going on in your industry, your organization? You know, what are the high-level objectives and goals of your organization? What initiatives are taking place? Those things impact and influence your world. You need to know what's happening. Thinking about your team. You know, all of these different things are happening around us, and we have to keep our eyes open, lift our heads a little bit, and understand those things so that we can manage them. So that's the first skill. The second skill is situational awareness, and this is all about observing and interpreting your immediate surroundings to enhance your understanding of present circumstances. Now, situational awareness is a skill that's talked about a lot in self-defense class. So if you've ever taken any sort of self-defense class, they probably have spoken to you about the importance of being aware of your surroundings, right? You're not going to walk down a dark alley and pop in your headphones and put your hoodie up, because then you're not going to be aware of your surroundings and you'll be an easy victim. And we want to be situationally aware in the workplace. We want to be conscious and present and engaged. I usually compare this to driving. So I know I've done it, and you guys have probably done it too, where you drive to work, you pull into the parking space, and you suddenly go, who drove here, right? That's that place of being tuned out, and that's how a lot of us operate in the workplace. It's not safe on the road, it's not safe in the workplace. Now, if you've ever driven in that tuned out place, what happens when you see an accident almost happen in front of you, right? You're jolted into high alert. And that's an adrenaline-fueled place, and you're acting on instinct. You're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're just hoping for the best. So reactive people are constantly bouncing back and forth between being tuned out and being in high alert. I'm not paying attention until I have to pay attention. And that's not helpful. That's not going to help us be proactive. Being proactive, we need to be right in the middle. And I call that relaxed attention. And I also call it focused awareness. So it's this kind of place where, back to the driving analogy, it's how you want to teach your kids to drive. My boyfriend has a 17-year-old daughter, so we've just recently gone through this process. And you teach your kids to drive on, driving on your best behavior. You're conscious, you're aware of what's going on around you. You see that there's someone who is about to merge into your lane on top of you, and you gently pull back a little bit, let them in. You're on your best behavior. You're engaged and present. So that's what we really want to hone, is that ability to be engaged and present in a relaxed and focused way in the workplace. All right, let's talk about the third skill. That one's called future focus. It's the ability to create a clear vision of the future by defining two different things: desired results and the action items required to get there. So this is all about goal setting. Now, this is where it gets hard, right? I just told you, be present in the present moment, but you also need to be thinking about the future at the same time. Now, I know Joan does a lot of great work around goal setting, and that's what this is all about, thinking about the future and establishing goals. And the framework that's often cited is SMART goals. It's an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So 5 elements of a SMART goal. And the great thing about proactive people is that they think in this framework kind of all the time. No matter how big or how small the desired results or action items are. So for example, a proactive person who is attending this webinar might start off and think to themselves, okay, what do I want to get out of this webinar? I want to get 3 tangible strategies that I can implement in the workplace this week. That's what they do when they sit down for a webinar. They do that when they pick up the phone and call a client. They do that when they sit down and speak with their executive. They're running through that process of thinking about, what am I trying to achieve? How am I going to achieve it? So that's future focus. Strategic foresight. This one's my favorite. I'm such a nerd for this stuff. It's defined on here: the ability to use logic and imagination to anticipate outcomes, obstacles, and opportunities. So strategic foresight's the magic sauce, okay? Our former Secretary of State, Colin Powell, used to talk about this skill, not in these exact words, but he would advise leaders that they should look for people who can see around corners. I just love that. Seeing around corners, that is strategic foresight. It's the ability to think ahead and see what's coming and plan and prepare for it. Perfect example right now for administrative professionals: travel planning. Okay, we are in the middle of the winter months. And it's only going to get more brutal from here. It's sunny in Denver right now, but it won't be in a few hours. We have 5 to 8 inches coming our way. So if you're travel planning in the middle of winter, are you using your strategic foresight to say, okay, weather delays are much more likely? And are you doing things now to help minimize the pain and anguish of travel delays? Do you have a backup plan in place if there's a weather emergency? Are you communicating with your executive about the weather, where they're going? Are you leaving a little more time in there to get from the airport to the meeting? Those are all tools that we use when we're using strategic foresight. So I just love that one. Okay, intentional action. This is really where the rubber meets the road, right? Actually taking action. We talk about here the ability to initiate timely and deliberate action to create your desired future state. So proactive people are not afraid to act, you know, even when it is hard. And I know that taking action, it can be scary, right? Because it puts you out there. It shines a spotlight on you. You have to take initiative. But proactive people are able to do that in a conscious, deliberate, and thoughtful way, but also quickly, you know, in a timely fashion. Reactive people sit back and they wait to take action until they are forced to. They're afraid to take initiative. And I know some people are afraid to take initiative because they've been burnt in the past. And I talk about how to take initiative without overstepping in the book, because it's a delicate balance. You need to find that perfect place where you're doing what needs to be done without being told, that you know it's within the scope of your capabilities and your position. So that's intentional action. And then finally, self-evaluation. So this is the ability to critically assess your behaviors and your results and make appropriate adjustments to enhance your future outcomes. Self-evaluation is a hard one for a lot of people. You know, it takes some time to go through self-reflection. It can be hard to see yourself honestly. A lot of us are really hard on ourselves, and we need to be humble and see the areas of improvement, but we also need to approach this self-evaluation process with confidence that, you know, yesterday I might have been more reactive and maybe I could have foreseen some of these problems I'm encountering today, but I can do things differently now. I always have a room to grow. I always have the potential to grow. So for self-evaluation, I encourage you to seek feedback from your advisors, your trusted advisors in the workplace. Seek feedback directly from the executive that you support, and also use the tools at your disposal. So I have a quiz that I would encourage everyone to take. It's a simple PDF downloadable quiz. It walks you through 10 questions to help you see, okay, am I as proactive as I could be? So this quiz, for those of you who want to participate in it, it's a free downloadable. And all you have to do is you go to my website. It's eatyourcareer.com. If you scroll down the homepage just a little bit, you're going to get a pop-up banner at the top, and it says join the library. There is a whole free career resources library there for you, with tons of downloadable workbooks and worksheets and quizzes just like this, so you can engage in that self-reflection and self-evaluation process, and then you can use the tools to continue growing in your career. So eatyourcareer.com. I believe that Brian also has the link directly to the sign-up page for joining the library. And I would love to have all of you, you know, engage there and grab some of those resources.
Awesome, Chrissy. That was wonderful. And I love that last point about self-evaluation. This is such a great time of year to do that.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I love this time of year because I always reflect so much and I just have so much gratitude. And I'm also, you know, looking at things like resolutions. I sat down with my boyfriend last night and he said, you know, let's name 3 things that we want to be doing that we're not doing now. And it was a great exercise for us to come up with those things and then say, okay, how are we going to do them next year? So if on your list of those things that you're not doing that you want to be doing, if, you know, being more proactive is there, you know, this is the skill set. This is what to do. So engage in those practices that I talked about and really spend a little bit of time consciously thinking about how to be more proactive at work.
Love it. And I have one more question for you, Chrissy, before we jump into our offers and our giveaways. So what do you think is the most important thing assistants need to know about being proactive, about this topic?
Yeah, I think that it's important to recognize that this is a process and you're going to make some mistakes along the way. I've talked in the book about when I was working as an assistant, and my boss had sent me over this PowerPoint presentation to just kind of proof and upgrade a little bit. And I went through and I fixed all of these things that I thought were errors and sent it back to him, and I said, look how proactive I am. And he said, yeah, those weren't errors. I meant to do that. You need to go back and fix all the things that you changed. So I was trying to stay 2 steps ahead of him, and I failed miserably. That's going to happen. So recognize that all of those times when you're trying to, you know, do the right thing and take initiative and it backfires, it's okay. It helps you to learn and it helps you to grow. And this is a skill set that has to be honed and practiced. Every single skill on here on its own is quite easy, but it's the combination of skills that's hard to integrate into your day-to-day work life. So give yourself some time and be patient as you grow and hone these skills.
Love it. You said this at conference, Chrissy, and I think this applies to not only today, but every webinar in this 12-day series. Nothing changes until we change.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can't just sit back and magically expect for the world to just become perfect for us. We have to take action. We have to do the right things today to make tomorrow better.
Awesome. Well, we have been talking about Chrissy's new book, The Proactive Professional. It's available now in the Office Dynamics Success Store, and that is our special offer for today. We have Chrissy's book. It should be, our webinar administrator will actually let you know the link to where to get that book, but you should see it in the chat, The Proactive Professional. And when you purchase this book through downloads that come along with it. And in addition to this offer, we have another offer, and that is Chrissy has some really amazing online digital products that are available through the Office Dynamics Success Store. And we are offering all of those until the end of the year at 35% off. So that's another just bonus offer for you today. We've got Chrissy's book. We've got all of Chrissy's digital products at 35% off. And we have a couple more fun things, so please stay tuned with us. If you can stay on just a little bit longer, we have a fun surprise for you. And I'm just going to invite my team in really quick here. Come on in, guys. It's that special time. And Chrissy, we're going to do, let's see here. I know Chrissy has some fun giveaways, so I guess it is that time. Giveaway. My ears jingle. So Chrissy, tell us about the 2 giveaways that you have for our viewers today, and I'll get ready to pick a couple of winners.
Excellent. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so Joan has put me in the generous giving spirit. I've watched as many of these webinars as I could over the past 12 days, and I just have been blown away by how generous the entire Office Dynamics team has been. So I have pulled out 2 workbooks from my library. This is the Build Your Professional Development Plan spiral bound workbook. Now, I know on Office Dynamics, you can get the electronic version of this. I am a paper person, so the electronic version is great because you can print it out, but I have the spiral bound workbook printed out, ready to go for 2 people. I have 2 copies here that I want to, I'll sign and I'll ship them to you directly. And I'll have Jasmine pick those names and then she'll connect me with you so I can get your address.
Okay, it looks like our 2 winners are Desandria Johnson, DC Johnson. Congratulations, Desandria.
Yay!
And Christine Seals.
Yay!
We love the giveaway dance.
Yeah.
All right, that is awesome. And we will get in touch with these 2 individuals and let you know how to get those shipped to them, Chrissy. And we have our final giveaway for the 12 Days of Christmas webinar series. We are giving away an online learning bundle valued at over $2,300. This is the complete online learning library from Office Dynamics, the conference on demands and the webinars that we have on our store. So you're going to get access to all of that content that doesn't expire. I know, right? Ooh. It is huge. And we're giving one of those away today to one of our lucky viewers. So I am going to scroll and click on somebody here in the room. Let's see here. Catherine Sickles, and you're under the name Kathy. Congratulations, Kathy. All right, so that was our big winner. We have a really fun surprise for you, but before
Wait. I say we give away 1 more of those prizes.
One more prize. All right, well, Joan's not here.
I want to pick.
Joan's not here, so we're going to give away 1 more prize.
Nice.
Click on my @ when you see it. All right, so if you scroll and then click, we're teaching Brian how to pick a winner.
Yay, Brian.
Oh, there you go, right there. And then just click right there.
Okay.
All right, it's Victoria. Yay! Forrest.
Yay, Victoria.
Congratulations, Victoria. Woo, do the prize dance. So congratulations. I hope that Victoria is dancing around as well as Kathy and all of our winners today. And like I said, don't leave yet. If you have just 10 more minutes, stay online with us. Oh, and before we do, let's just give Chrissy's extra special thanks for joining us today. And Chrissy, if you would like to share any comments with our audience before we show them a special message from Joan.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much to Office Dynamics and also to all of you. I've seen the chat going crazy over here, so I'm going to hopefully be able to kind of glance through and just see how this information was resonating for all of you. But I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chrissy. And we wish you all the same. After the video, we'll be closing things out, but thank you everyone for tuning in. And please trust us. You want to stay tuned until the very
Don't go anywhere.
end.